Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We aren't just talking about abstract ideas. We are doing a complete diagnostic deep dive into your physical workspace. If you constantly find yourself struggling to maintain focus, well, the problem might not be in your head at all. It might literally be sitting right in front of you on your desk. Let's dive right in and look at how the visual presentation of your workspace is absolutely critical for setting the right cognitive state for deep, focused work. So think about this for a second. Why does staring at a cluttered desk completely exhaust you before you even start working? Have you ever had that happen? You sit down, coffee in hand, ready to tackle a huge project, but the sheer sight of the scattered papers, the tangled cords, the random sticky notes, it just drains you. What's actually happening here is that a messy workspace acts kind of like a subtle DDoS attack on your brain. It is quietly, persistently draining your mental RAM before you've typed a single word or read a single page. Section 1. The hidden focus drain. This is where we really need to reframe how we think about productivity. So often, we treat our inability to concentrate as a failure of personal discipline. We think, if I just had more willpower, I could get this done. But the research tells us a completely different story. A lack of focus is very often a structural response to an unoptimized environment. Your brain is reacting exactly the way it's supposed to when it's overwhelmed by visual inputs. As Harvard Health notes, like a computer that slows with use, the brain accumulates wear and tear that affects processing. When we apply this to cognitive fatigue, it becomes incredibly clear. You see, your brain doesn't just process the document you're trying to read, it is constantly processing your entire surrounding environment. Every single object in your peripheral vision requires computing power to register and ignore. It is a massive, totally invisible drain on your daily energy reserves. Ever caught yourself staring at a pen cup instead of writing an email? Yeah, that's your brain allocating precious resources to the wrong physical object. Section 2. The visual clutter tax. You probably don't even realize you're paying this hidden tax, but your brain is footing the bill every single second you sit in an unoptimized space. It quietly sabotages deep work for students, doctors, and professionals alike. The crucial mechanism at play here is parallel processing. This is the brain's involuntary attempt to divide attention across multiple visual inputs simultaneously. You don't choose to do this. Your brain evolved over millions of years to constantly scan the environment for threats and opportunities. So, when you have a straight coffee cup, a stack of mail, and a blinking phone charger just sitting there, your brain's filtering system is forced to work overtime. It is parallel processing all of that physical clutter alongside the complex problem you're actually trying to solve. And that leads us right into cognitive overhead. Think of this like having 50 tabs open on your web browser. Even if you're only actively reading one tab, those other 49 are eating up your computer's memory in the background. Cognitive overhead is the mental effort and working memory required just to filter out the distractions in your workspace so you can complete your task. If your environment is cluttered, your cognitive overhead is sky high, completely exhausting your brain before the actual deep work even begins. To really reinforce this, we look again to Harvard Health, which states, when there's too much material, it burdens our filtering system and it's easy to get distracted. It's truly fascinating when you look at the clinical breakdowns of this. This information fatigue frequently manifests as physical brain fog. It's not just that you get distracted, it's that the sheer volume of visual material physically burdens your brain's ability to maintain a clear, continuous train of thought. You're essentially asking your brain to carry a heavy backpack while running a marathon. Section 3. Stripping down the environment. If the problem is an overloaded system, well, the solution isn't to try harder. The solution is to debug the workspace. We need to pivot from feeling frustrated by our lack of focus to acting like architects. We're going to treat the physical environment as a highly adjustable system that can be systematically optimized. Look at a cluttered workspace versus a stripped-down workspace. In a cluttered setup, every single object is demanding a fraction of your attention. But in a stripped-down environment, that friction is just gone. There is literally nothing to process except the task at hand. Shifting to this low-friction environment doesn't just passively help, it actively promotes sustained attention by completely eliminating those parallel processing tasks we were just talking about. Section 4. Physical parameters for flow. We hear the word flow thrown around a lot, right? But flow isn't some mystical state that only happens when you're feeling incredibly inspired. It's a biological and cognitive state that you can reliably enter by controlling the physical parameters of the space around you. And before we talk about clearing the desk, we have to talk about ergonomics and visibility. As Harvard Health points out, you waste precious cognitive resources when you spend too much time trying to make out what's written on a page or just hear what someone is saying. This is incredibly critical. Straining physically, like squinting at a poorly lit document or struggling to read a monitor that's placed way too far away or at a weird angle, directly saps the cognitive energy that you desperately need for complex problem solving. Physical strain equals cognitive drain. Every ounce of energy spent trying to see your work is energy stolen from actually doing your work. So here is your blueprint for focus. We're keeping this incredibly accessible, no heavy jargon for us today. First up, monitor placement. Your screen should be right at eye level and at a comfortable distance so you aren't unconsciously squinting or hunching. We've all caught ourselves doing that turtleneck screen hunch, right? It physically wears you out and wastes precious energy. Second, optimal lighting. Ensure your space is well lit to reduce eye strain. If you're working in the shadows, your brain is working twice as hard just to decode the letters. And third, the total elimination of visual noise. Everything, and I mean everything, that is not actively serving the current task must be removed from your peripheral vision. Let's break this down into a simple, actionable system audit you can perform on your own desk right now, summarizing the recommendations from Healthline and Harvard Health. Step 1, clear desk clutter. If you aren't using it right this second, put it in a drawer. Step 2, switch off visible notifications. Healthline specifically advises turning off notifications to completely remove distractions. Even a phone sitting face up on your desk that lights up silently is a massive hit to your filtering system. Just flip it over, or better yet, put it in another room. Step 3, optimize lighting and screens so you aren't wasting cognitive resources just trying to see your work. Adjust your chair, tilt your monitor, and turn on that desk lamp. The ultimate takeaway is this: a stripped-down visual environment actively prevents the wasting of cognitive resources. I want you to feel deeply empowered by this. Mastering your focus and getting into a state of deep work isn't just a matter of grinding it out or relying on pure willpower. It relies on spatial architecture. By simply changing what is visually available in front of you, you're protecting your mental bandwidth. You're essentially building a fortress for your focus. Which brings us to our final thought. I want you to look around your own workspace right now and ask yourself this: what is the first piece of visual noise you are going to eliminate from your desk today? Find that one thing draining your focus and get rid of it. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.